So guess what, Ben?
What?
We haven't talked to each other via video conference in quite some time, but I have a George story.
Oh,
There you go. I don't know. I still don't know how to make the effect that you did, but we'll figure it out. So uh, the other day, I was unemployed and laying on the couch, finger my belly button, other one the nose, switching every 10 minutes because I had that kind of time. I get a text from my sister. Hey, have you talked to mom? I'm like, as a matter of fact, no, I have not talked to mom. What's going on? Oh, she's freaking out. Okay, why? I'll let her tell you. So while we're texting back and forth, my mom texts me. Oh my God, George, I can't believe it. I'm like, you can't believe what? What is going? Can we get to the point? We need the point at which everything converges so I can figure out what the fuck is going on. So, yeah. So, so as it happens, my mom, I call her. I'm like, look, what's going on? She says, I woke up this morning with 5 dogs, and I now have 4 dogs.
oh no.
And I'm like, okay, well, where's dog number 5? And she says, I don't know.
Oh,
Now I'm like, oh boy. So I'm like, I'll be right over. Switch my fingers one more time because that's what I do. Take a shower, put on some pants, and then I go over to my parents' house and I start looking for the dog. I go up the first of all, I go behind my parents' house, and my parents they have a feral cat they love to feed, and it's a female who has a litter every year, so she's keeping the whole neighborhood bird free. I don't know. So I look at there's a tent out there behind the house, and it is full. I mean, it's a tent that's this high that has this much cat food just pouring over it. I mean, there's a lot of cat food there, and it's still there. So I'm like, all right, well, that dog definitely didn't come out this way because this dog only likes 2 things: food and being petted, and
mm-hmm.
that's it.
What kind
Everything
of
else,
dog is it?
she's a like a Australian Shepherd Blue Heeler mix or something.
Okay,
She's
no, not a huge dog then.
no. She's 35 pounds. She's a cutie. She's real cute, but she's not big. So so I start, walking through the alley, up and down the alleys. I start walking up and down the neighboring streets. I probably walked about 3 miles all the way around. I listen for other dogs that might be barking at her, like in the
Right.
window or she's in the
Yeah.
backyard or something. Nothing. So I'm getting kind of stressed out, and I'm stressed out for my mom. My mom's falling apart. The neighbors from across the alley, who my parents are good friends with, come over, and they're like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, well, you're trying to find the dog. And I was talking to my mom. She says, there's a little shed out back, and I think some skunks set up a nest in there. And I'm like, no, no, if skunks set up a nest in there, you'd know. Oh, with 5 dogs, you'd know quick. And she said, yeah, I'd cordon it off with the fence to make sure they don't get out, and bite the dogs, whatever. I'm like, okay. So after looking and thinking and looking and thinking and looking and thinking, I decided to move that little fence she set up and go back there.
Mm-hmm.
Under the side of the shed, 2 little furry legs, 2 little furry dog legs.
Oh, so you could see the dog.
The missing dog has been found.
So the shed fell on it.
No,
Like
no, no. There's
like a Wizard of Oz thing. It just fell right on
There's
it.
moved dirt. There's something she has burrowed underneath the shed.
So you could see the shoes, and that was it.
Yeah, just little witches' shoes, like from Wizard of Oz,
Yeah.
sticking out. So I'm like, it's been 6 hours, So this dog's had no food, no water. I mean, this dog has been under the shed for 6 hours.
Poor thing.
So I put my hand on her and talked to her, said, hey, it's going to be okay. You're going to be all right. And her feet go deeper under the shed. And I'm like, what the? And I part of me wants to just grab her feet and pull her out.
Yeah.
But I don't want to hurt her. I don't know if she's got something wrapped around her. I don't know what the hell's going on. So the neighbors come out. And they're like, we're trying to figure out what to do. My parents have a tremendous jack, one of the old pump jacks, that 5-tonners, but it's in the car that they're in at the doctor's office. So I can't use that. So the across the street neighbors, who are roughly my age, the husband says, call the fire department. And I'm like, okay, that sounds legit. But it occurs to me, since the dog has not made any noise in the entire time that I've been there, and this dog is a very yappy dog. She yaps all the time. That it's quite possible that she is not alone underneath the shed. That part of town where my parents live has bobcats and occasionally coyotes, both of which would just love a nice chub Australian Shepherd. So I tell the neighbor that he actually called the fire department on the non-emergency line, and the guy says, "Do not tell that to them until they get here, otherwise they will leave." And I'm like, okay. So the guys show up, nice and quiet, rolling down the street because it's not an emergency. They're like, "What's going on?" I said, "Well, hey, I got a dog. I know the dog's underneath the shed. I don't have any way to get to the dog. I tried to dig it out. The shovel broke, so I can't use that. I can't lift the shed. I'm not physically strong enough, and I need some way to move the shed to get the dog free." I said, "But I will tell you that I'm not 100% certain that the dog is by itself." And all of a sudden, these firemen's eyes are like this big. They're like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, there are coyotes and bobcats that live in this neighborhood. The dog hasn't made any noise. I wouldn't be surprised if something was nesting, to have pups or kittens or whatever, and a nice meal came in there and they just helped themselves to it. So I just want you guys to be prepared for that." These guys start getting really nervous. And so anyhow, we were going to move the shed. The shed's modular plastic shed. It's not cheap, but it's not well constructed. And so, as firemen do, they just destroy it. It's in 18 pieces and they throw it all off. And there's all sorts of crap in the shed. These tiles, it was real heavy. So they grabbed the Jaws of Life, the miniature versions. And so this one fireman, they're all like, one of them was holding the axe just in case there's a coyote there. And they're like, "We're ready." And one guy's like, "Man, I'm just scared there's a snake under there." And I said, "The dog weighs 35 pounds. There is no snake in this neighborhood that's going to catch and eat a 35-pound dog. They might have bit it, but it ain't going to be there, anyway." So everybody, by this time, the ambulance had showed up. The whole fire station showed up. So there's like 8 of us now.
Was it the dog ambulance?
No, they're from the firehouse. They usually have an engine and ambulance, so that the ambulance crews got there. So literally, there were 8 firemen, paramedics, all behind me, and they get out the Jaws of Life, because the Jaws of Life can either cut or lift. It does either one.
Right.
So they finally get a tile underneath it because it's dirt, and they get an edge, and they jack it up. And I mean, they only jacked it up about that far, and she came shooting out. And it was just like, yeah. And the dog was fine.
Was she stuck?
She was just stuck. She's an older dog. Yeah. My guess is there's also a lot of rabbits in the neighborhood, and probably a rabbit went down there and she smelled it or saw it. And so she started digging after it. And she's just not a very good digger. So she got stuck. She got stuck in there. And, I probably could have pulled her out, but I'm really worried that would have injured her in some way, because she's not a young dog. She's a middle to old age dog. So I didn't want to hurt her. But happy news. She popped right out. Very happy. She drank a lot of water, ate a lot of food, made a bunch of poop. Everybody's happy. My mom, in my mom's fashion, bought like 16 pizzas and sent it to the fire, hand delivered to the firehouse. The guys went crazy. They're like, "The dog lady." And like, yay. And so there was much celebration, very happy ending. Skadoosh. There you go.
Well, I'm glad the dog was okay.
Dog was okay. Mom took my mom longer to recover than did the dog, but she was okay. She was in tears when she found out she was okay. Very, very excited. Yeah. Yeah. So shout out to Goldie and the dog.
And the dog. What's the dog's name?
The dog's name is Duchess.
Oh, Duchess.
Bing.
Yeah.
That would be fun. But so it's like this. That's what Duchess looks like. So yeah. Yep. So everybody's okay. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's happy. Everybody's well fed. Obviously. Silent Bob. All right. So that's it. That is the end of the George story. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching episode
everybody.
episode 101.
Peace out, everybody.
Be nice to each other. Fuck Marshall Green.
Don't forget to subscribe. Click the link down below. Click like, subscribe.